Do you want to unleash a storm of bullets on your enemies, keep your allies supplied with endless ammunition, rain death from above on entrenched foes? Then the support class is for you. Today in the class analysis series, I will be analyzing and reviewing the support class in Battlefield 1. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe so that you can watch the others as they are released. Next to the medic, the support in Battlefield 1 is probably the most team-focused class, with an array of tools and weapons designed for a variety of roles on the battlefield. As a support, you will be relied on to suppress enemies to cover your allies' advance, using both machine guns and mortars, repair friendly vehicles to keep them in the fight, and resupply ammunition and explosives to keep your team in the engagement longer. While other classes seem to be more popular and prioritized, the support as a class has various roles that act as the underpinning, which holds up the rest of your team. The primary weapons of the support consist of light machine guns or LMGs, designed for sustained, stationary fire over running and gunning, with a few notable exceptions. Battlefield 1 reintroduced a unique mechanic from Battlefield 2142, where LMGs grow more accurate the longer the trigger is held down, in an attempt to reinforce this suppressive, supporting playstyle. As a support, you can think of yourself as a somewhat mobile weapons emplacement and platform, more than a mobile running and gunning infantry. For this reason, many supports struggle to compete in head-to-head engagements with other classes, and an argument can be made that LMGs are the worst overall weapon type in Battlefield 1. However, supports who pick the right weapon for the right situation and position themselves well can still absolutely melt enemies, with laser-like accuracy when deployed and large mags giving them incredible staying power. Support players need to be acutely aware of sightlines, as a prone support laying cover fire is an incredibly easy target for enemy snipers. Even with some of their closer range weapons, the supports can still be easily outclassed and outgunned by other weapon types in the game. So remember to play smart and support your team. Now, despite the relative weakness of LMGs, there are still a few standout weapons in the support arsenal that I like to run with personally. First is the LMG 08/18. With a 100 round drum magazine and decent stopping power, this is a pretty versatile gun that can be used on the run and prone. Just watch the overheating from sustained fire that can happen pretty easily. The cranking reload animation when the drum still has some rounds in it is also one of my favorites in the entire game. Another favorite of mine, not only in Battlefield 1 but in other battlefields, is the BAR 1918. Not only is this gun an absolute stylish and badass classic, it is amazing for close and medium range fights, with enough damage to go toe-to-toe with many other close range weapons. It is essentially an assault rifle. Just be aware of the smaller magazine, as you only have 20 shots to get the job done. If you want to keep up with your squad and on the move, this is a great weapon to run with. Although the Burton LMR is another solid choice here, with an insane time to kill and effective hip firing, just again be aware of the 20 round magazine. Finally, if you want to be Rambo manning the 50 cal in Rambo 4, then the M1917 MG is the gun for you. The ultimate turret gun, this weapon has pinpoint accuracy when deployed, a decent firing rate, but most notably, a ridiculously massive 250 round box magazine. The M1917 can also act as an effective anti-air defense as well. If you truly want to hold the line with an unending stream of bullets, I strongly recommend this gun. In addition to unloading LMG fire on your enemies, as a support you will fulfill several other roles on the battlefield through your various gadgets. The support class has stayed relatively consistent in its role throughout the series, as a light to heavy machine gun wielding ammo supplier, with some indirect fire gadgets. In Battlefield 1, the support probably has the most versatile gadget lineup, each designed for a different purpose and playstyle. Unlike my medic and assault class analyses, I won't be listing the gadgets here from least to most useful. As a support can fulfill so many roles on the battlefield, it was a little more difficult to do that. But the first gadget I want to talk about is the crossbow launcher. Now, if you want to go medieval on your enemies in Battlefield 1, then this is the gadget for you, with an explosive twist. There is actually some historical precedent for crossbows being used to launch grenades in World War I, however, these were by no means carried into battle by an individual soldier as seen in the game. They were instead used similar to a mortar launcher used to lob explosives in a high arc in order to land down into the trenches. In Battlefield 1, the crossbow launcher has two variants, the high explosive and the frag. The high explosive is more useful against vehicles and destroying walls, and the frag is a simple frag grenade good for clearing infantry. The crossbow does feature a little bit of a firing arc as the grenades kind of lob over, and that does mean you can safely fire it behind cover. However, to me, it is just a little less useful version of the rifle grenade attachment used by medics. The projectile and reload seems slower, and you only get 2 grenades as opposed to 3 with the rifle grenade attachment. although I think that is to balance the fact that support crossbow grenades resupply slowly, automatically, even without an ammo crate. Overall, I just think there are more useful gadgets you can use as a support. Next, I want to talk about the mortar gadgets, which come in high explosive and airburst variants. Both variants also feature 2 smoke mortars that can be very useful in providing cover for allies and obscuring enemy sightlines. The mortar is a deployable gadget you can man to fire the shells in an arc to land above and on top of enemies. The mortars can be incredibly useful at clearing out stubborn infantry in trenches and behind cover. The airburst variant is arguably better against infantry. It explodes just above the ground, showering the area in shrapnel. Now, it is easier to land hits with the airburst, as the mortar really isn't the most accurate gadget. However, the airburst is absolutely useless against enemy vehicles. Hitting one with it might just scratch the paint if you're lucky. The high explosive variant of the mortar is a much better option against vehicles, and can do decent damage. However, I have found that unless the vehicle is stationary, it can be pretty tricky to land a direct hit here. The high explosive does more damage against infantry than the airburst technically, but requires a direct hit in order to secure the kill. Another perk of the mortar is it's also useful for scouting, as it provides the user with an eagle-eye view of the battlefield for just a few seconds. Like the support class in Bad Company, the support in Battlefield 1 has once again taken the engineer role of repairing friendly vehicles using the repair tool gadget. The repair tool is fairly straightforward. You equip it and use it on friendly vehicles to restore their health and fix damaged parts. The wrench can repair quickly enough to give your vehicles an edge in mid-combat, but not quickly enough that it makes vehicles extremely hard to bring down. The ability for a class to repair vehicles is arguably less useful here in Battlefield 1, as any driver can self-repair their own vehicle. However, this takes quite a bit of time, and any damage cancels the repair, making it completely useless in combat. A heavy tank or land ship with 1 or 2 supports positioned safely behind it, repairing it as it unleashes its arsenal on the enemy, can be a very deadly combo in the game. The wrench can also be used to damage enemy vehicles, giving you an anti-vehicle option if you're desperate enough to run up and try it. Another useful trait of the wrench is that it can actually repair weapon emplacements, such as AA and AT guns, and having these be available to your team can be critical to victory in some game modes. Next, we have the limpet charge gadget. This sticky little buddy can attach itself to walls and vehicles and features an incredibly impressive explosive payload. This gadget can be thrown a short distance and after a few seconds automatically explodes. The limpet charge is actually a pretty versatile tool on the battlefield. You can use it to clear out entrenched enemies, destroy walls and houses with ease, and obliterate enemy vehicles if you can get close enough to make it stick. Many support players swear by this gadget, and it's easy to see why. Now lastly in the support lineup, we have what is in my opinion the most useful gadgets for support, the ammo crates and pouches. Just as the medic's primary role is to revive and heal allies, so is the support's primary role in Battlefield 1 to resupply ammunition and explosives to their teammates. These to me are the staple gadgets of the support, and it can be extremely hard to justify not carrying at least one of these gadgets always. Other gadgets may be more or less useful compared to each other depending on the situation, but the ammo crates and pouches will be useful 100% of the time, as you can use them to resupply your own ammunition as well as that of your teammates. The ammo crate can be deployed to provide an area of resupply, refreshing both ammunition and explosives such as grenades. The pouches can be thrown to individual teammates to resupply them almost instantly. However, I tend to use the ammo crate more often than the pouches. Even though the crate is stationary, the aura of resupply it provides is incredibly useful, as throwing individual pouches to teammates can be somewhat finicky and features a cooldown. The crate is especially useful for a support who posts up with their own LMG and provides an endless rain of bullets to cover their allies' advance. Regardless, if you go crate or pouches, having either is essential to the success of your role on the battlefield as a support. They also make an extremely easy way to rack up a ton of points. Overall, if you want to feel like an essential part of the team and focus on providing the resources and cover to ensure victory, then the support class is an incredibly fun and rewarding way to do so. I really hope you enjoyed the video and this class analysis. If you did, check out my others in this series if you haven't already. Until next time.